Welcome to another random gaming news, where today we're going to take a look at a few quick mentions. WB Montreal might be teasing a new Batman game, and then we're going to look at what actually backwards capability means for the Xbox Series X. Make sure that you guys are checking out the links in the description for the other YouTuber to support, and the Discord server where you guys can actually post news or suggest news that you want to hear here on the channel. Please share this video to help out the channel. Make sure you're hitting the like button if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of when I make my next video, and let's go ahead and start the show. First up for the quick mentions, let's talk a little bit about Doom 1 and 2. They actually released last year from Bethesda on the current generation of consoles. We got the old 1993 game brought up here to, current generation people for them to be able to play it. Well, now we're getting some much needed quality of life updates, as we're getting the 60 frames per second update for it. We're getting quick loads and save. You can hit the pause button and press the left or right bumper to actually save or quick load a game if you need to. And then we're also getting some other add-ons added in there with the game itself, as the John Romero's, the co-creator of Doom, the 2019 version came out with Signet, and that will actually be going into the Doom add-ons themselves, and Bethesda will be picking them for the future, but they will be coming out and asking if what actual fans want to see inside the game. And it's just nice to see that Bethesda is picking up an old game for modern players to actually pick up and play, because it's something that my kids never really got to experience it, as they're maybe not experience it right now because they're a little young, but once they get a little bit older, it's still something that they can come back to and play. Now, Monster Hunter Iceborne, the expansion, came out not too long ago here on PC, and it's actually been causing some problems for some of the hunters, as the save files have been overwritten. So when they go to play the expansion for Iceborne and try to do anything with it, it tells them that there's not a compatible save file as an error message, and then they actually go to make a new save on the suggestion of the game, and it overwrites any save files that were currently on there, losing all player data in the process. So it's something that if you got the Iceborne expansion here recently, maybe you want to back up that cloud data before actually jumping into it, so that way if you encounter this error message, you have a way to get back your progress instead of just losing everything that you've worked on for all this time. And now, lastly, let's talk about GTA 4 not being sold on Steam right now, at least currently as of making this video. There's been no word why this isn't being sold on there, but this isn't something that is, that hasn't happened in the past to other GTA games, because in 2012, Wanna Be Starting Something by Michael Jackson actually hit a copyright claim to Vice City, and it was struck off of the Steam store for a little bit. And then they made a patch for GTA 4 in 2018 that actually took out some of the songs that had some licensing that were actually expiring for the game. So it's something that's not uncommon for GTA games to be taken off and re-put back up, but there's been no word from Rockstar of why this has happened. One theory that's been floating around out there, that the games for Windows Live service, it doesn't have any more keys to actually produce to Steam. They're having a little bit of problem getting that out there. Haven't heard any word on necessarily that, or there might be some other copyright claims that were put up against the game. But most likely, if anything comes from this, is that they've taken it off of the Steam browser to then put it onto their own launcher that they created last year. That's what my betting money is, if it doesn't ever come back to Steam, that they just wanted to make it exclusive to their own launcher, which makes sense because Rockstar made the game. They make very profitable games, and this is just another way for them to keep a big chunk of the money that they're making from Steam or anything along those lines. But if you do actually own the game, it's something that you can still go and download and play it. You just can't purchase the game for any future endeavors. WB Montreal is the game studio that actually brought us Batman Arkham Origins, and it came out with some mixed reviews. I personally enjoyed the game, but it's one of those games that I think it was overshadowed a lot by the mainline games that came out at the time for the main Arkham games. But I think if WB Montreal were to come out with a game today, it would probably be met with some better reviews, because there has been some years in between the last mainline games, and it might be seeming to be that we actually might be getting a game from WB Montreal, as they just keep on teasing stuff about Batman. Last September, I actually reported that they actually put out on their Twitter page a short video kind of flashing some images of Crest that turned out to be more along the lines of the Court of Owls, and everybody started to think that maybe they're making a game about the Court of Owls for the Batman series. Well, with this new leak that came out last week, it actually seemed that maybe they're making, something a little bit different, because it's throwing a lot of people off from what they got. As you're seeing here, it looks like something as more of a government agency with a little eagle on top and a shield in the middle and a little cross about, around the whole thing. So it's one of those things that, it might just be something that they're showing us some other villains of the game, because, the Arkham Origin games were always, they had a lot of side missions in there where there were other villains that weren't so much the main focus of the game, but they were, in the game itself. So this might just be somebody else that might be in the game, and we might still be getting a Court of Owls Batman game. Whatever it is, I hope we hear more about what WB Montreal has been working on, but whatever it is, I know it's going to be awesome, because more Batman in anybody's life is always a good thing. Now let's talk a little bit about the Xbox Series X and what backwards compatibility is going to be meaning for that console. So we all know that Microsoft has come out and said recently that the Xbox Series X will be able to play original Xbox games, so you can pop in the old Halo game and it'll work just fine. But now it would seem that the Xbox Series X games are actually going to be working on the Xbox One. So what that means is that this holiday season, when you go to buy the new Halo, you don't necessarily need to buy the Xbox Series X. You can go ahead and buy Halo Infinite, pop that in the Xbox One, and it should work just fine. And this is something that's keeping in theme with what Microsoft has been doing this past console generation, where they're trying to more push their player base and expand that more than versus making exclusives or pushing console sales. And they've done this recently with their Xbox Game Pass on PC, and just adding more features for PC players to bring them into the fold of the Xbox brand. And Matt Booty actually said recently, he's the team head over at the development studios for Microsoft themselves, and he told MCV recently in an interview that as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down that family of devices. We want to make sure that if someone invests in Xbox between now and the Series X, that they feel that they made a good investment and that we are committed to them with content. So it would seem that, that Microsoft is actually treating PC and console gaming as kind of the same, with having save files that go from one console over to the other. So if you get the Xbox Series X game and play it on your Xbox One, you can then transfer it to your Xbox Series X whenever you get one. And it's kind of interesting to think about, because now the Xbox One is going to be a 7-year-old console when the Xbox Series X actually comes out. So I believe that, and it just kind of seems that development might be hindered with this being something that they have to make for new and old consoles versus just making for the new one, seeing as the Xbox Series X is going to need to be 8 times more powerful than the Xbox One. And I just don't think that developers will be able to see their ambitions actually come to fruition. So it'd be nice to see what actually comes of this holiday season. And the Xbox Series X is going to be doubting ray tracing with an SSD for shorter load times. So with all this said, we know without a doubt that if you get an Xbox Series X game, it's not going to look as good as if you're playing it on Xbox Series X, but at least you can still play the game. And it's kind of interesting to think about, because PlayStation seems to be going the old traditional route where they're allowing the previous generation to be played on the console, so the PS4 will be able to be played on the PS5, but we haven't heard a whole lot of news about any other generations. So we have to wait a little bit longer to actually figure out what's going to happen. Holiday season isn't too far away, and E3 season's even closer, so I'm betting that we're going to get a lot more information from Xbox at E3, maybe not so much Sony. We'll get into that on Friday's video, but I just want to know what you guys thought about all of this down in the comments below. Well, that's our video for today. Be sure to come back Friday so that way you don't miss out on the new one, and leave your thoughts down in the comments below about anything in today's video. Be sure to check out the links in the description to support the other YouTuber that's down there, and check out the Discord server where you can actually suggest news you want to hear about. Please share this video to help out the channel, and hit the like button if you guys did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon to be notified of the next video. As always, I have been Tasty. This has been Random Gaming News, and have a wonderful fucking gaming night.